What's going on? Welcome to the Free Kickin podcast. This is the Free Kickin studio. This is a podcast we've talked about launching for a while now. We originally pitched it to the Chicago Fire, but they never got back to us. So we decided to go a little bit of a different direction. I kind of get why they didn't get back to us. It's probably too much of a liability to have us on there with brand guidelines and things like that. So I think it makes sense. No hard feelings. But yeah, man, these are my hosts, Daniel Johnson on my left, Patrick Duty to my right. For people that don't know, we all played for the Chicago Fire together for a couple years. And this podcast is going to be basically some storytelling, kind of just kicking the shit, having cool conversations with, soccer people or kind of people from all walks of life. We want to help support local businesses and just have fun conversations and kind of connect the dots for American soccer and hopefully bring some new voices and some new opinions to the game, because I think right now there's a lot of the same faces that we've seen on ESPN. You got Twellman, you got Alexi Lawless tweeting out of his ass. I don't know what Eric Winalda's doing. I think Eric Winalda's doing good, honest work actually. But
Rodney Wallace was on. That was good.
What's that?
That was good to see. Rodney Wallace was
doing
some Euro stuff.
No, that was good.
But yeah, you're right. It's the same terrible shit.
It's the same voices, and so hopefully we won't be talking too many tactics or breaking down tournaments or anything like that. We want to really shed light on the personalities within the game, and hopefully just have some fucking fun, man. That's ultimately what this is about, is telling stories and having fun. One of the reasons we decided to do this is because American soccer is just blowing up right now. You've got Atlanta United at the Mercedes-Benz Center doing more fans than the Falcons. They do like 60,000 fans a game.
Yeah.
The Fire just moved back to Soldier Field, which is huge. You've got Cincinnati just moved in their brand new stadium, packing that place.
Crew too.
Crew just did a new stadium.
That place is awesome.
That place looks sick.
So all these new teams, all these new stadiums are popping up into the MLS. People are pouring a ton of money into it. In 2009, Toyota Park in Bridgeview, where the Fire used to play, where we played when they were there, that was the second soccer-specific stadium in the entire country. 2009. There's so many now, and they're all fantastic and sick. And then Austin FC is a new one too.
Yeah, you got McConaughey coming out pre-game in a full green suit
Green,
with a little
sick green suit.
What's he slapping there? Like some sort of like old school drum.
He's
Fucking
got some
sick little steel drum.
Yeah,
that he picked up from his travels.
dude.
Doesn't it kind of
from one of his movies?
Dude, that guy is so well traveled.
it kind of pisses you off at how cool he is.
Yeah, it does. It makes me really angry.
Like just this much.
Well, he has no business being as cool as he is. You want him to be such an asshole because he's such a well-known and celebrated actor, and like everyone in Hollywood fucking sucks. But like, dude, this guy's a legend. And have you seen his Buick commercials?
To the Buick commercials.
The Buick commercials.
Lincoln.
It's Lincoln.
Lincoln.
Yeah.
Even better.
Yeah.
I mean, how cool would it be having that guy as an owner, dude? He's out in the green suit, getting the fans going. Who knows if he knows?
Dude.
Who knows if he knows anything about soccer?
Dude, is
That's
that better than Will Ferrell?
Yeah,
I think so.
personally-
I think Farrell's had his time.
he's done.
Well, Farrell's cool too because he gets his kids there and like.
Yeah, no, but like if that happened when I was like 14 and Will Ferrell was like the
Would've been
funniest
stupid.
man alive,
Yeah.
that would have been crazy.
But for now, us as like almost 30-year-old adults, and McConaughey being truly a living legend.
Yeah.
Seeing the fact, like, it almost makes me more happy that I played in MLS like now, and I don't even play anymore, but just knowing that McConaughey is now a part of it.
Yeah.
I feel like in a way like I'm also like somewhat associated with McConaughey.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like when you told people you were professional soccer a couple years ago. It's gonna be like what they thought it was in their head, but like 10 years from now, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, I'm gonna tell my kids that after every single game I had a beer with Matthew McConaughey.
Yes.
Every time we played in Austin.
The story's
and they weren't
gonna-
even in the league.
It's gonna
when we were
evolve a
playing.
lot.
Yeah. There's gonna be a lot of lies told.
Yeah.
Hopefully this is erased from the internet by the time.
The coolest, I mean, looking back kind of like on our MLS experience and the Fire experience, the coolest thing to tell people is still that we played with Bastian Schweinsteiger,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
That's like the
Yeah,
coolest,
top three.
most notable thing that I think we can all say we've kind of done.
For sure.
Man, I remember the day that we announced we were signing him. I had nobody had any clue that we were signing him. And then I woke up on Twitter and saw a video of people chasing his limo out of the O'Hare Airport, like a global icon, dude. I mean, I grew up watching him. Obviously, played some FIFA with him. I knew he was a legend, but I didn't understand the global
magnitude.
The global magnitude. Yeah, dude.
They literally call him the soccer god. That's what the entire
Fußballgut.
country of
Fußballgut.
Germany refers to him as on like a first name basis in broadcast.
Not to mention his wife's a model and a Wimbledon
One
champion.
of the best tennis players. Yeah, dude, it's insane. And if you remember, like the reporting and the journalism leading up to that transfer was so bad. Like nobody knew that was happening. I don't know how, but like there was like small rumblings, but it wasn't usually like we knew in the locker room that something was a
Rumors
done deal.
or something.
Yeah.
Nothing leaked. There were like
There was nothing leaked. I don't know
Yeah.
how they did that.
That is actually a true credit to the front office. To think the fact that, and people, I hate when people say like, oh, he just came over here because he was retiring. The club he was on before the fire was Manchester United.
Yeah.
No one is washed up at Manchester United. So like, I can only imagine how many teams globally were interested in grabbing him. So then the fact that he lands in Chicago in MLS and we happen to be on the freaking team at the time. It's like, it's kind of incredible.
And everybody was freaking out. I think it's because everybody's freaking out about Nico.
Yeah,
Because we
Nemanja.
had just signed. Everyone, like all off season, everyone was like hashtag no Nico, no party. Outside of Belgrade, I think this is a true fact that Chicago has the largest population of Serbians in the world.
Yeah, I know it's Polish people for sure. I know we have more Polish people in Chicago than there are in like actual like in like Warsaw, Poland.
Yeah.
I find that very hard.
There's
No,
like
no,
there's like 1.2 million Polish people in Chicago.
Yeah,
Can you look
I've
that
been
up,
told
Molly?
things.
How many
Yeah,
are in Warsaw?
get that on the Google. Look
Yeah,
up both
look that up.
Serbians and the Polish population here.
But no, so we signed Nico. That guy just scores goals for fun.
That guy's a legend.
And he did. He won the Golden Boot that year. He scored like 20 something goals. It was insane.
It just bounced off his cock and went into the
Yeah, dude, the
goal.
ball would bounce off this guy's dick and go in the fucking
And
goal.
you remember when he came and his English got way better, but when he first came, everyone was like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" Because he was doing interviews and he was literally like unabashedly so confident in himself.
It was awesome.
It was so
People would
cool.
just ask him like, "So, what do you
He's-
expect?" And you can find this clip. He's like, "Everywhere I go, I achieve all the goals, everything. I make top scorer. We win league. I play with the national team, and at the end of season, they always accolades. They come to me, personal and for the team." And dude, he's just like, all the goals, it's for me. Like food, I wake up, think the goal, I breathe the goal. And he's just, all he's saying is, I don't think he knew anything about Chicago. He was just like, I'm going to score a bunch of goals. And then he did.
He did.
And, but dude, it was Artie who was like, because everyone was like, is this guy really gonna score? And Artie played with him in Hungary and was like, yeah, you're not going to understand half the goals he scores, but he's just going to score.
Because he was the top goal scorer in Poland, right? It was
And
the
in
Polish
Serbia,
league
and in Hungary.
and in Hungary.
Jeez.
And so, we saw him
That's
play,
insane.
and it's he's a good soccer player and all, but like you want some of these guys like Wando's got it. Some of these forwards that just happen to be in the right spot at the right time, and like that's a skill you just can't fucking teach.
No.
And this guy Nico, man, like he shot everything with the inside of his foot. He never used his laces. And the ball just found a way to come to him, and he was an amazing box finisher, dude. And then Basti showed up. And I remember it being a total scramble, because guys like us, I mean, we're in there, we played college soccer, and then all of a sudden you're bringing in one of the greatest, if not the greatest German midfielder of all time into our team.
2 years after a World Cup.
Yeah. And so it was just kind of all surreal, dude. And, at the time, me and DJ are living with 3 other dudes in a house in Lincoln Park, basically living like
Respect that house, though. Respect that house.
DePaul college students.
They knocked it down. 1943
Did they
Fremont.
really?
Yeah,
They knocked it
they
down.
knocked it. It was the
Wait,
oldest house in the block. It was a
what?
beautiful street. We
That
lived
house
on
had
it.
good bones, though. It was fucking an eyesore on that block.
Yeah,
Everyone had
everyone on that
remodeled.
block had $1 million homes, and they hated all of us because they thought we were in college, but we were actually professional athletes, just like driving like Honda Civics and like Jettas and shit.
Fair. I mean, fair. I can't believe they knocked that down. That's sad.
So Drew was mildly right. The population of Warsaw is 1.8 million, and in the U.S. there's 9.5 million Polish people.
Chicago.
What about Chicago? Though?
There's no more than estimated 280,000 Polish Americans in each city.
Those are
No,
people,
I need Chicago Polish stats.
That's what I'm saying. It's no more than like 280,000.
So the cap in Chicago is 280,000.
In any,
No chance.
in any,
I know
in-
280,000 Polish people myself here. There's way more.
Chicago Polish population. Chicago bills itself as the largest Polish city outside of Poland, with approximately 1.9 people of Polish ethnicity in the Chicago metropolitan area.
All right, so I don't.
Can we do the math on that?
So then he's right, but
That's a
apparently
lot, though,
my Google is wrong.
I guess it doesn't matter. There's just a shit ton of Polish people
I think
here,
what's
and we love
important-
them.
That's
what-
what's important.
Now, what's really important is, we're kicking off this podcast, and within the first 10 minutes, we're throwing out facts, and we have no evidence to support them.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think...
And that's what Mahoney's supposed to do, though.
That is your job, Mahoney.
That's why he
I already
has the
failed, I
desk.
guess.
To be fair.
And here's the thing. That sets a good precedent for what we're doing here.
Exactly. I think that's a nice commitment to the people that hopefully watch this and listen, that what they hear in terms of facts,
Is not true.
it's a total toss-up.
That's why we're free kicking.
And that's what makes this fun.
That's
why
what
we're
makes
free kicking.
that's what makes it free kicking.
Exactly.
First day Basti was in. Dudes, you kind of had a weird
Yeah.
you kind of had a weird situation with Basti the first day that he showed up. Everyone's catering to him. They got a bunch of news channels there.
Yeah.
We're just trying to make sure everything's okay.
Didn't you guys get like a laundry list of rules? Of
Yeah,
like
no.
what not to do.
They came and spoke
what
to
not
us
to say.
and said, like, be normal when you introduce yourself. Media rules, stuff that came outside the locker room, people asking you questions, like turn down interviews, all that type of stuff. And then we also were like, didn't train on Bridgeview training field for like a month
that was
'Cause it was
great.
so bad.
because it was so bad.
But it was like, yeah, act normal, but don't bother. Like,
Yeah.
don't bother him, but act normal, but also
like he's your teammate now, guys. Like form a bond, but also like don't look at him in the eye.
yeah.
I think they were trying to figure out exactly what was happening, and I think they viewed a few of us as like, holy shit, what are these, like, what are the young Americans going to do when this, like, their
Dude,
idol
because
walks in?
literally do you remember being in college and being like, damn, when I get to a pro locker room, it's going to be like all business, we're going to be going in. And then we're like naked in the locker room, in the hot tub at all times, bumping. I used to put on YBN Namir on the same speaker system that connected to the coach's room and just play it exceptionally loudly.
Those Serbian guys didn't like American hip hop.
No.
No, they didn't like a lot of our locker
They
room
just,
tradition.
but I will say, Drew, you kind of had it right. Like, they almost they were giving us so many guidelines, but then the message at the end of each rule was, but basically just be yourself. And to us, it was like, all right, do you want us to be like ourselves?
Or do you want
Or do you want us to follow each of these guidelines? Because I'll do whatever you want. Like, you pay
Yeah,
us.
seriously.
But you're making it like this isn't a big deal, but at the end of the day, I haven't seen half the front office all year, and now they're all in the locker room telling us what we should and shouldn't do when he walks in.
Well, and you made a famous early blunder.
I did, yeah.
Do you want to? I know you want to get that off your chest. Do you want to kind of?
Yeah, I can dive into it. I wasn't expecting it to be on the first episode, but here we are. So essentially, we just gave you the backstory. Bastian Schweinsteiger's, he's signed. He's coming to the U.S., coming to MLS, coming to Chicago. Holy shit. We get our whole PR ordeal, and now he's actually at the building. So, introduce ourselves, go out to training, more media than I've ever seen, come in, and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, the next day at training. So the first day I kind of call it a wash. Like, I don't even remember if we did much.
We
but
played 5v2 the whole time.
yeah, and it was all like, I just remember trying to be in every shot with him. So anyways, the next day, we're kind of back to normal to an extent. And in our locker room, for those that aren't watching, well, actually, none of us are watching it. I'm trying to explain it. Basically, there was a main restroom for the team. And then there was kind of a sneaky little back restroom with 3 little stalls and a urinal and whatever. And for whatever reason, this back restroom was not heavily used. In fact, only me and 2 other of my teammates actually leveraged it. Whereas then the other 30 guys on the team were all fighting for the other restroom. So
it was your secret little poop spot.
Yeah, it was.
Well, who was it? It was you.
It was me, Jonathan Campbell, and then Michael DeLayu, the Lion.
Yeah, the Lion.
Dutch God. And the 3 of us had kind of formed this really cool partnership back in this secret restroom. And it actually got to the point where we had set time slots. So if I remember correctly, if training was at 11, we had to be, in film started at 10, and if you were going to be using the restroom, it was probably 35 minutes to an hour before. I don't need to get too into detail for that. But so DeLayu had the first 15-minute shift, then Campbell had the second 15-minute shift, then I had the third 15-minute shift. And it was basically like an unspoken bond that, like, hey, you stick to your time slot, you get in, you get out, you obey that, and you don't fucking say anything to anyone else. Because the more that we started to see all of you
struggle for stalls,
and you're timing your coffee, and it's like, well, when can I eat breakfast?
Especially when everybody started dipping on the team.
There's a lot of factors there that we were just witnessing.
You got guys chewing the Swedish tobacco. They need to poop.
A lot of
you got. You had, what was that breakfast they were bringing in at the time?
Dude, the egg casserole.
Oh my God, dude.
That was just heat.
Anyway.
Keep going, dude.
That got ugly. So anyways, so we were witnessing that, and it basically over time made us so grateful for what we had. So that next morning, after Bossy's first day, it's coming in around 9:15, 9:12. That's when I usually started to start my walk towards the stalls. And Johnny Campbell was supposed to be out at 9:15. It's about 9:17. Door's still shut. So I knock on the door. Hey, Johnny, let's go. I don't hear anything. So I'm kind of getting pissed off, but maybe he's got something going on in there. So I knock again. Hey, Johnny, let's go, man.
Or Johnny's like fucking with you.
Yeah, well, at first, I want to give him courtesy.
Right.
So I give another quick knock. Hey, Johnny, time's up. And it's still nothing. So I'm like, all right, like he's fucking with me. So I don't know what led me to do this. But for those, like, it's a very general stall. And I pounded on the door very hard. And then I dipped my head underneath the stall, kind of looked up, and I was like, hey, Johnny, I see you. It's time to get out of here. And it wasn't Johnny. It was Bastian Schweinsteiger on his phone using the restroom. And he looked at me and he just screamed, Basti, Basti, Basti. And I was like looking up at him. I was like, oh my God. So I like sprint out of there. I sprint down the Toyota Park hallway. I find a janitor's closet. And I go in there and close the door, and I
lock yourself in the closet.
I lock myself in the janitor's closet at the basement of the stadium. And I'm thinking through my head, like, what did I just do? First of all, that's so creepy. I don't care if you know any, like, you could.
You're like, hey, Johnny, I'm here. I'm
Johnny
watching
boy,
you.
I see ya. Yeah.
Well, Johnny is a good victim for that. Like that would be funny for Johnny.
It could have resonated.
Exactly.
It's still a stretch to like do
no,
that.
It's on the fence, but it's good.
Yeah,
So-
you guys knew each other well enough.
We knew each other.
to be
Yeah, but it's still like that's so weird. So the fact that I even went to that route, but for it to be Basti, and we just got this huge spiel about how
Not fucking with him and
Just-
not giving him his privacy
Yes.
and
he's a world icon, and the last thing you want to do is aggravate him because God knows how much money we just spent for him to move his family here, and here I am peeking on him using the restroom. So I'm in the closet and I'm like, all right, let's go over what could happen from this. One, I could lose my job. Like that's actually a reality now, which is very scary to think about.
That's true.
you're thinking I'm getting cut.
I think there's a
or at
realistic
least like a season in St. Louis for sure. Like,
yeah, probably like, dude, you're gonna go down.
which is the same thing.
The
as
St. Louis loan.
Yeah, been there. So that's going through my head, and I'm going over all the negatives, and then I'm starting to think, well, you know what? I barely know the guy. I just met him yesterday. I shook his hand. Probably has no fucking idea who I am. He's met 1 million people at this point in the last 24 hours. So, all right, just go back into the locker room, basically act like nothing happened.
Which is just the worst move.
Yeah, it totally backfired. So I went into the boys are all foam rolling and stretching before our film session. I walk in, start foam rolling. Hey, what's up, guys? Chit chat. And Basti walks in and he points me out and he goes, you. And everyone like looks at me and I'm like, hey, what's up, man? He's like, you fucking looked at me while I was shitting. And everyone looks at me and I'm like, whoa, like, what? And he's like, yeah, you peek your head inside. And everyone's like, dude.
What the fuck, man?
Like, yeah, and great last name for this story. But they're like, dude, what's he talking about? And I was like, Basti, I am so sorry, dude. So now it's like, everyone's like, wait, he's telling the truth?
Yeah, I remember we were dying because we said, dude.
Yeah,
it's like, that's how we used to talk to you. And me and Drew were in the corner just going, dude, what the fuck? Just like,
so I was
ripping you.
I'm like, Basti, like, first of all, I'm so sorry. I know we don't even know each other. I was like, it's a huge misunderstanding. I was trying to peek on Jonathan Campbell. Then Johnny Campbell was like, wait, what? Like, what are you talking about? And I was like, no, Johnny, like, you know that I follow you. And like,
Johnny's like, no.
He's like, dude, I don't know. And everyone's like, dude, seriously, what's going on? I was like, guys, I thought Johnny was in there. It was my turn to go to the restroom. Now it's starting to get out like, wait, what restroom are you guys even using?
So it sounds sketchier than it should because you guys kept
it wasn't in the main ballpark.
Yeah.
So first of all, like our whole cover's completely screwed. Second of all, everyone now thinks I was like spying on Basti using the restroom. It was a moment in my life that I will never forget when I made eye contact with him. And then that sprint to the janitor's closet and like everything just flashed before my eyes. All these different outcomes that could happen. And the fact that he knew exactly who I was when he walked in there and the whole squad was in there. It's unreal.
It's an unbelievable icebreaker.
Can I just add, Basti's locker and mine were actually right next to each other, and I thought for sure he would request a change, which I would have totally respected. We ended up being good buddies for the duration of that year.
He's a good dude.
And that was the best possible outcome. Like it was only going to go one of two ways. You were getting cut, or you guys are going to become good friends.
And he ended up loving you.
Yeah, it worked out.
DeLay called you the peaker.
You got nicknamed the Peaker the rest of the year. You were the Peaker.
I was Patrick the Peaker, which was fair. And our bathroom schedule kind of got screwed, but I mean it's a great memory.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
Yeah, I mean even I had the pleasure of meeting Basti and his beautiful wife Anna Ivanovic. Drew invited me to the Cubs game because he was singing the 7th inning stretch with Dax and Basti. And I had a freaking final for college, and Drew's calling me immediately like, look, Mahoney, I have one extra ticket. You have to come. Like, you're not going to your final. You're not taking this test. You're coming to the Cubs game with me.
Once in a lifetime. I think that's the coolest thing I ever did. And most of the player appearances for guys like us, for like the younger American guys, we didn't get these cool first pitches or 7th inning stretch or tickets to a Bears game. We got Jewel Osco on a Wednesday at noon, and you would sit at the
If you want to meet Drew Connor, come to the cold meats fucking section,
dude. Those Jewel Osco appearances were brutal. I guess they were one of our sponsors. So was Heineken. So we would sit there at like a Heineken table with a Heineken rep, and people would be walking by doing their groceries, and they'd be like, the Heineken person would be like, "Do you want to meet Chicago Fire midfielder Drew Connor?" And they'd be like, No. And then they just like walk by me.
They give you a whole stack of cards to sign.
Yeah. I think I signed
with you in like a sweet like player action.
And I just remember every time leaving with a full stack.
Yeah.
I still have like a stack in my car.
Oh,
I know for sure, like under the floorboards.
Exactly.
And so, dude, it was just like, so to finally get a really cool appearance, like singing the 7th inning stretch of the Cubs, the season after they won the World Series, I was like, holy shit. And dude, luckily I went to a bunch of those. Nobody wanted to take those Jewel Osco appearances. And Frank, our PR guy at the time, was like, hey, I really need you. Will you please just go back out to Bridgeview for me? It was middle of the day. I was like, all right, I'll do it. And then, luckily Basti didn't really know the words or the tradition of the 7th inning stretch. So he wanted to bring Dax on. And then Frank was like, well, why don't we get a local guy? And he chose me. So I get a call 2 days before the game. And I'm like, yes, absolutely. I would love to do that.
That was so sick.
Called Mahoney. Dude, but we went to the game. Basti threw the first pitch.
We were on the field for a while. Like,
we were on the field hanging out.
batting practice. Met Chris Bryant. Like, it was unreal.
It was very, very cool, man.
It's crazy too. Like, think about all the Cubs fans in this city that would do some bad things to be able to do that.
And it just fell in my lap, and it was the first Cubs game I'd watched in 3-4 years.
Hell, and you're just on the field like, Phil a millionaire, like pro athlete.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure in my Instagram caption I put Drew's first Cup game.
Yeah.
And it was wasn't it the year after they won it?
Yeah, dude, it was like
unreal.
the 4th or 5th game. But I just remember
so
as
cool.
the game was going on leading up to the 7th inning, me and Dax and Basti and Mahoney, and we were all sitting up in the box and starting to get nervous,
Sure.
Because Basti's not going to lead it because he doesn't really know the words. So I'm thinking, all right, Dax is going to lead the charge here. Me and Dax are like, we're putting them down, dude. We're
Good.
putting down
All
beers.
of us were. Even Basti was.
We're putting down beers, and the 7th inning comes around. We go do a little rehearsal with Gary on the organ, and then we get into the booth, and one of the guys opens up the window, and Dax goes, I think you got to get in the middle and lead it. And I'm like, oh my God. He goes,
he tossed you, dude.
He's like, dude, he's like, come on, dude. Like, you're from the area. You got to do it. And I'm hammered. I'm like 10 beers deep. I stick my head out the window. I'm like, what's going on, Chicago? It's, awesome. And we do the damn thing and get out of there. But when we went back to the box, Ryan, you got a chance to hang with Basti for a little bit.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. We went back to the box. We ended up chilling, just having like normal conversations with this fucking legend. And I'm sitting there in like the hot dog line, like trying to make my Chicago style hot dog. And Anna and Basti are with me in the line, and they're like, "Oh, I want to eat the hot dog Chicago style. Show me, please." And I was like, literally making Anna Ivanovich's Chicago style hot dog for her. I mean, this woman won Wimbledon. Like, it was quite an unbelievable experience.
Ryan asked Basti the most basic
soccer question
on earth, which is who do you think is better, Ronaldo or Messi? And Basti's answer was
Manuel Neuer,
a goalkeeper.
Oh, that is
Germany.
Sick take.
And we're like, whoa, that's a hot take.
Explain why he said
Well, he
that.
was like, he was like Messi or Ronaldo, and Basti's like, actually, I think Neuer. And we're like, what? And he goes, well, if you think about it, he goes, if we're looking at positions on the field, he goes, I think Neuer did more for the goalkeeper position than Ronaldo and Messi did for theirs. Yeah. Which is kind of a hot take, but I mean, it's super German of him to just select another sick German player. Like,
I guess it does kind of make sense in a weird way. I mean, no one was doing the stuff that Neuer was doing, like running out.
Dude,
of the box
I think that
and
Neuer
just
could play
balls.
comfortably in the midfield in the MLS.
I'm sure he could. He's got good feet. But that was the coolest appearance I ever did. Duty, you got
screwed.
Fucked.
Duty got fucked. Out of. I mean, for you, the one.
Yeah, I'm a diehard White Sox fan. Went to 05 Game 2, Scott Pathetic walk-off. Sox won. Actually swept the Astros 4-0, 2005 World Series champs. Nice. Anyways, been a diehard fan. It's my favorite team, Chicago. And the good part about being on our team, being a local kid, is everyone usually is a Cubs fan. I'm a diehard Sox fan. our PR department knew about it. So it was my birthday, April of 2017. I come in from practice, and in my locker room is hanging a fitted Chicago White Sox hat, and then a custom-made Chicago White Sox jersey with Duty 22 on it, which was my soccer number. And then a nice little letter that said, will you please throw out the first pitch at our game next Friday?
Dream come true.
Dream come true. I mean, this was like...
And they did it so well.
It was...
They had it really nicely set up.
Yeah, it was really... I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it now. Like, it was really cool. So I freak out. I call my dad. You know, my whole family's from the south side of Chicago. We're getting tickets lined up. It's just going to be a big ordeal. And fast forward about 10 days, I'm supposed to throw out the first pitch that Friday night.
And you said you had family that were like, they didn't believe you.
They didn't believe me until my dad actually started purchasing tickets for them.
Yeah, like
and
a
then they're
shit
like,
ton of tickets.
oh, this is actually happening.
Yeah.
So it gets really sad here, folks, but I come in from
So bad.
I come in from training, and our kind of operations guy, Alex Buller, great dude, AB, he's like, hey, Duty, I need you to go talk to Nelson, who's our GM. I was like, well, that's never a good sign. So I'm like, all right, no problem. Go in, talk to Nelson. Nelson's a good dude. He's like, hey, we're gonna send you to Utah this weekend to play with our minor league team. You haven't got minutes in a while. This will be a great opportunity. Their starting left back now is hurt. They called us. We know that you need minutes. So I'm like, all right. He's like, so you're flying out of O'Hare at 2:30 this afternoon. And I just completely froze. So I was like, well, I can't. I have to do it. It's my job. I don't have a choice.
Did you tell him that you were supposed to throw the first pitch?
I didn't tell him, but I went down and I talked to AB and I was like, hey, Nelson just told me, he's like, dude, I'm so sorry. He's like, I know tonight's the Sox game.
And it was like, the day of.
Day of.
Yeah.
They sent you to fucking Utah.
Yeah, I flew out.
And dude, I know.
But dude, in true fire fact, that's
that
how
was
they.
on purpose.
Yeah, that's how they would. Dude, that's how they would do it.
That was on purpose. They didn't like when like any young American dudes were kind of getting hype or like any sort of like appearances. I think they found out that you were throwing the first pitch and they're like, we're sending him to fucking Utah.
Very purposeful from fucking.
It was ironic
Nelson.
timing since I had not been on loan all year.
And usually the loans were like, hey man,
You're
gonna be down there for a couple
how do you
months.
feel about heading down to like St. Louis for a few months, or like, do you want to go to like Memphis or like whatever the case was? It was never like, hey man, Friday you're flying out for one game, you never train with the team, and then you're gonna come back.
It's very, very, very little one-off trips like that.
And you got your first your White Sox, your boyhood dream of throwing out the first pitch for the Sox just ripped from you, and you got sent to Utah to play a minor league soccer league game on what I'm guessing is like a converted baseball stadium, probably in Utah or some shit.
Yeah, in Salt
what is the
Lake.
team in Utah?
It's Salt
It's
Lake.
Monarchs.
Salt Lake, the Monarchs.
They play at Monarchs.
They do play it. They
training
did play
facility.
it.
Or
We
did they play
played
Rio
at the
Tinto?
stadium.
Okay, that's nice.
Tinto.
Not that matters.
Dude, I think we should make a campaign for you to get that pitch back.
Yeah.
The Sox are having a
Dude,
great season,
I think
right?
if
They
Free
are.
Kickin does absolutely nothing and we never get traction, if we can get Duty back on the ballot for the first pitch,
I think we should start a campaign on social media or maybe do some kind of
Look, I have a plug. Nancy Faust, who is the most famous baseball organist of all time, who was the White Sox organist forever.
Dude, let's
We
get this
her
guy
on the
his first-
podcast.
let's get this
She
guy his
wants to
first
come on the
pitch.
podcast. Maybe
She will be on
she's
the
got
pod.
some influence.
Yeah.
We can bring this up to her.
We
and
gotta
try and
get this
Duty
guy-
his first pitch back.
Duty needs his first pitch back.
Hey,
We gotta make this shit happen,
that's
dude.
like
Let's
our
blow
best.
it up.
That's our best shot, I think.
We'll get
Please welcome Sprout Social head of biz dev, Pat Duty throwing out the first fucking pitch. Dude, yes.
I'm starting to blush a bit. Hey,
Let's make it happen. Let's turn it into a campaign. I think if we can get a couple of the big names that we played with behind it, maybe we tweet at the Sox a couple times or do something. I think we can pull something off, dude.
I think if
you're
anybody-
connected to Nancy Faust, we went to a Sox. You know some of the people that work there.
Yeah.
I think we can do it.
If anybody can do it, Drew Connor can do it.
Pat's got the Southside
Networking
connections.
Hey, I don't want the podcast to be about me, but if it's going to be, this was what I would like.
This is it. This
Yeah.
is it.
We have to make it happen.
Oh,
Thank you.
dude. No, young guys like us, like we rarely get chances to do cool stuff off the field. Like I was saying, appearances and stuff. And because there's this pay gap, you know, each MLS team has a couple stars that are making a couple $1 million. And then you look at the bottom of the roster, which is like us. And it's like some of these guys are getting paid $6 million, and then, you know, we're getting 60, 70K. And it's like, what the fuck, dude? Like the difference in pay is insane. Your Gilberto story about him looking at your paycheck is gold.
That was good. That's the depth. If that could have been recorded, that's something that we could have showed to the union. And
To the
showed-
players, MLS Players Union, and they would have been like, okay, maybe we do need to pay our younger players more.
There's a very massive disconnect going on right now.
Yeah, so apparently dude's got his paycheck. And Gilberto, who was one of our like famous Brazilian strikers at the time on a $1 million contract or something.
2.5.
2.5 milli comes up and sees Duty's paycheck.
stub.
Didn't he think it was his?
No. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I was in the shower. Gilberto and I our lockers were right next to each other at the time. And coming from the showers, it was 2 days, 2 weeks gone by. So I'm trying to find my pay stub. And I see Gilberto at my locker. And I'm like, hey, man, what's up? He's like, oh, Duty. He's like, paycheck's wrong. I was like, really? I look at it. I was like, no, I'm good. And he goes, no. He's like, bad. He's like, I go get Bowler, our AB, our guy. And I was like, let me look at it again. I was like, no, Gilberto, like, this is fine.
So he thought the club was like got it wrong and like is fucking you basically.
Yeah, well, then his famous
Or there was
line.
like a clerical error or something like that.
Yeah,
Oh, this can't be right.
Yeah, he was truly trying. He was coming from a good spot, but his famous line was like, "No." He's like, "You need more zeros," and I was like, "Yeah, I would love more zeros, Gilberto. I don't earn more zeros." And then I pulled up his 2-week pay stub and I show it to him, and I was like, "You see this?" I was like, "This is what I make whole year, and this is what you make in 2 weeks." And he's like, No. He's like, I go get AB. I was like, for the love of God, do not get AB. That's how much money I make. And like the whole locker room was dying. And God bless Gilberto. His heart was in a good place.
Yeah.
He was trying to be like, yo, why aren't you making like actual money? But it's so funny for me to like think like, no, that's
And
what
some
I
of
get.
these guys have no idea, man.
No clue.
They don't
They're-
know.
They are convinced that we are all making $2.5 million.
Flick the check.
Yeah.
Looks good.
Wayne Rooney came over and he was like flabbergasted by like how little the American guys were getting paid. And I, we had a players union meeting before like our second season, and they're talking about GAM, which is general allocation money, TAM, transfer allocation money.
explaining it.
And DJ stood up and he's like, hey, where's the fucking YAM? And they were like, what's YAM? And he's like, young American money. There's none of it in this fucking league. We're all getting screwed out here.
Yeah, I mean, this is at the point where like I was fully rogue.
Yeah.
I was just getting abused by Pano. I had stopped caring completely, and I was just like, "Fuck it! Like, why not? Why not bring it up?"
Yeah, yeah. And so this whole idea of YAM, because they're always talking about GAM and TAM and all these different ways to allocate money, DJ brings up YAM, Young American Money. So we like started this clique on our team of basically all the young American homies that were underpaid and, I mean, to be completely honest, getting treated like shit by the staff. We don't even have to go into that, but it was like DJ ended up getting his first tattoo was show the camera. He got YAM on his arm.
That's how strong
That
I,
is
that's
so
how strong
baller.
I feel about this cause.
It's unbelievable. So I think you had an idea to do a segment every couple episode to maybe do like a YAM segment where we highlight a.
But listen, being a yam is not about the soccer. That's first and foremost. It's about embodying a vibe. Because if you remember, Diego Campos was an American, a real good yam. Marko Mitrovic, assistant coach of the Chicago Fire, 2015 to 2018, not an American, not young,
But loved
but
himself
was a
some
yam. Yeah. So it's
like a religion.
Yeah. And essentially what I want to do is, of course, we can come on and every week talk about like Jackson Ewell's balling, Chris Muller's like really balling. Dudes are breaking into the national team, Eric Williamson.
We want to see young guys do well in MLS.
But we're talking about yams. So it's going to be Yam of the Week. And it's basically just any of one of these motherfuckers doing something awesome that has nothing to do with soccer. And they're going to get $5 from each of us. $25 to the Venmo.
Love
but
that.
they have to be listening to the pod and reach out to us first.
Love that.
In true Yam fashion, because no one is going to pay a Yam. You got to go and get it.
You got to go and get that Yam.
Hopefully some of the listeners will post the Venmo.
Yeah, maybe,
hopefully
maybe we
people
can
will be
do
like,
Yam.
hey,
Maybe
reach
we'll
out
do
to
Yam
this
bonuses.
Yeah.
Or maybe
Free
if
Kickin'
there's
is
if there's a
Yam.
guy on an MLS team out of college or American and he's been on loan to a USL championship or USL 1 team and
he scores a sick goal.
yeah, maybe he's scoring a sick goal. Maybe we get together like a Yam bonus.
Yeah.
Get like a GoFundMe or
Does
Venmo and
something
get
cool,
that guy.
interview.
Get that guy.
It's like a nonprofit.
It's like a nonprofit.
It's not profit. Yeah. Like this week, it would have been good. My Yam of the Week is Hassani Dotson, who
Minnesota United,
Minnesota
right?
Oh,
kid,
yeah.
played in college, Oregon State, I believe. He is balling. He's a good fucking player. He's got some call-ups, but I don't give a shit about that. He proposed to a bad bitch on the sidelines. And for that, you get Yam of the Week.
Yam of
That's
the
a
week,
big
baby.
flex.
So that's
There
your
we
first
go.
one of the
That's
week.
our first one.
That's the Yam
Sonny
of the week.
Dotson
Number
proposing.
If you
to-
hear
to-
this, $25, put that towards the ring, buddy. There you go.
I love that. I love that.
That's amazing.
Well, I think that's. I think we covered most of the bases. Man, this has been the first episode of Free Kickin'. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, like, can I interrupt real quick?
Yeah.
I think we'd be doing everyone a disservice if you didn't, give a little shout out to the shirt that you're repping right now.
Oh, yeah?
Facts.
Chicago House AC.
Speaking of yams, speaking of some
Speaking of
really good
yams,
yams.
no, this is cool. So this is a new professional organization that's starting up in Chicago. It's started by Peter Wilt,
Yep.
who's got a fantastic track record of starting teams. Chicago Fire, Indy 11, Forward Madison, all teams with good followings.
Wins.
And wins.
Yeah, he
and
wins.
they're still around. Like, dude, this guy started more professional soccer teams than anyone in the world, and he's starting a new one in Chicago. We're playing at the old Toyota Park, now SeatGeek Stadium in Bridgeview.
Mm-hmm.
And the team's called Chicago House. It's named after house music, which started in Chicago. So it's kind of
Is that true?
yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
is
house
true.
music.
I don't need to Google that.
Okay,
I know that.
got
House
it.
music started in Chicago, and no, dude, it was when I finished my season with Indy and was kind of weighing out some options. I thought it was a really cool opportunity to come back home and finish my career in Chicago.
Sure.
Coached by CJ Brown, who's a Chicago soccer and Chicago Fire legend. And so, yeah, man, it's just been really cool. I'm getting to play with a lot of the guys that are kind of coming back from back home, playing in Europe, and Kaz, Abador, Woj. I mean, I can go on and on with some of the guys that are on the team, but it's really cool. And I think the concept is hopefully that it'll be like this duality of both soccer and music, which are my two favorite things. And we're hoping to get some concerts at SeatGeek Stadium after the games, man. So this should be a fun thing. It's technically third division. It's a new league called NISA, National Independent Soccer Association. So there's not a lot of rules in terms of like marketing and things like that. Like we can kind of do anything and everything. So it's a
gonna be sick.
It's a super cool thing, man, that's going on. So please look up Chicago House AC on Instagram or Twitter or whatever. And yeah, let's maybe we'll do a ticket giveeway. We'll do a ticket giveaway at some point. Maybe we'll do some merch, something like that. But yeah, thanks for reminding me.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
I'm excited for that.
DJ, anything you want to say before we wrap up?
Yeah, I mean, why don't we tell the people real quick what we've got coming for the pod, what we got planned, and a couple of people we're bringing on.
Yeah, I mean, I think the original idea was to be just kind of a soccer thing, but now we're kind of open to bringing all different types of people on, man. I think, we definitely want to bring on some local soccer icons, but we want to get some restaurant owners in here, some musicians. I'd love to bring a DJ in here and take a break and do a quick little set. I think that
Can I take off that week?
You can leave when the
Okay.
DJ comes in.
Duty hates music.
For
for
you've
people
been
that-
listening to the same 10 songs.
Yeah,
since
Dude's
high
place
school.
has been updated for a long time.
But no, man, I think this is gonna be cool, and we're gonna bring in a lot of different guests.
Yeah.
And it should be a fucking blast. So let's keep it rolling. This has been episode 1 of Free Kickin'. Thanks for tuning in.